Patron. Hey, 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 hey. We off the Patron.
Welcome. This is HERSPIRATION Happy Hour Season 2, episode 32. And today we are going to have such a really great conversation about choosing to be childless. Choosing to be childless. So grab your drink or whatever cocktail of your choice. Today's choice for us is called a Black Russian, which is really just like a cream, a Kahlua, and a vodka. So we try to keep it simple today, especially for this type of conversation. I have my co-host on the line. Say hello.
Oh, hey, you said Black Russian, and I thought we were going to make a Kanye West joke.
What would that joke be? I'm kind of curious.
Get it? Because, Kanye West is a Trump guy, Trump's the Russians. Get it? Have you seen Dave Chappelle's new stand-up?
Yes, I did.
Where he, in the end, where he's coming from the Jussie Smollett thing or whatever, and he says, he's like, so you're saying that it was a man in Chicago wearing a MAGA hat? And he's like, then he's imitating the detective. He goes, Frank, get in here, see where Kanye West was last night, because Kanye West's a well-known Trumper, so yeah.
Oh,
but Trump
okay.
Russia.
You know what? I apparently missed that one.
Oh,
but
it's funny.
Okay.
I fell off the treadmill. I was watching it as I was working out. I about fell off the treadmill as I was laughing so hard.
Only you would fall off of a treadmill. Laughing.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, well, you've fallen off a few times?
Yeah, of treadmills, ellipticals. Sometimes things happen. I've never broken anything. Got sturdy bones. Yeah, I've fallen off treadmills before.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, today let's share and to really bring in this intro is you wrote an article or a journal piece of some sort for actually a pretty major publication.
I might as well go back. Well, it was an op-ed for CNN. It was 6 years ago. It seems like it was just yesterday. An op-ed for CNN. Long. I'm gonna try to consolidate the long story to really short. I never I didn't go to school for writing or anything. I had never what's the word I'm looking for? I had never really thought. I thought it'd be cool to be a writer, but it wasn't like I'd ever trained for that. My degree wasn't in it. It's kind of one of those things you tell people you want to be a writer, and I think I told my dad. He's like, "Cool, enjoy working at Starbucks." So I was like, "Yeah, you're kind of right." So I was a realist, but I always kind of wanted to do it. So, really long story, really short. I had said something in the comments about something. I was like, well, F it. I don't want kids, and you know what? Everyone can deal with it. The world can just deal, because if I don't want to live my life and leave this, that, and the other. And I was also kind of going through some things with my, going through some things with my parents at the time, and just kind of upset with them about some things. So I was kind of in this little mini rebellious phase right then. And the next day, I get this email from, I don't want to say her name, because I don't want, if we ever become famous and people hear this, I don't want a bunch of people sliding in her DMs. We'll call her Casey. She said, "Hi, my name's Casey. I'm a, editor with CNN, and we'd love for you to expound on your piece, for an op-ed." And I'm thinking, okay, it's spam. But I look at her email address, and it's legit. And I searched for her, and she's legit. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, so I wrote this piece, went through a few revisions, and, they did a background check on me. They did I had to do a counseling session with one of their producers to, it was one of those basically people might be mean to you on the internet, and I had to sign something saying that my parents wouldn't sue if I killed myself because people were mean to me on the internet. And I was, at the time, I was just like, yeah, F this, I don't care. People can eat a bag of dicks or something. I probably said to use more colorful language, but I was like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. So then I thought it was going to be one of these back page op-eds. I thought it was going to be, somewhere on the back tabs. And August 1st, 2013, it ended up on the front of the living section. Then it went to the home page. And then And then that's when, that's when all hell broke loose. And I just had people praising me. I did a couple interviews. I had people telling, a lot of people telling me I should kill myself. Lots of people telling me to kill myself. And people saying, someone should rape this B word and get her pregnant, and lots of things like that. It was just so messed up. And then, I don't know. It wasn't anything negative. It was certainly nothing like saying anything bad against other people. It was just that some people, they're calling them lives not to have kids. And you know what really killed me? The one that really killed me was the people who were saying it was anti-Christian to not have kids. And I'm like, do you realize the irony? Because you're saying you're Christian. Okay, cool. Now, I've read the Bible, and Jesus was child-free. So how are you going to say that by someone not having kids, they're not living a Christ-like existence? And that was one of the ones that's always, to this day, when people say it's anti-Christian, I'm just like, did we read the same Bible? Are we on the same page here? So, yeah, there was a lot of hate from men and women. There was also a lot of support. I think when all the dust settled, it had sort of put me on the map, and then I was able to do a few more writing things, but I can't say that I can't say I regret it, because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I wouldn't have written for the place that I've written for now. I wouldn't be a staff writer of The Source. I wouldn't have written for Zora. I wouldn't have written for Newsweek. I wouldn't have written for all these places if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't just plunged face first in. But I think I could have. I wish I really hadn't put myself out there that much. But then again, it made a difference for a lot of people. A lot of people said, thank you, I felt so alone. I got all the emails that said, thank you, I felt so alone, but your piece made me feel like I wasn't this weirdo. I realized if I had just, if I, suffered for a few weeks, if it made all these other people feel less alone, then my suffering, that's worth it. That's worth it. The temporary things I went through, if they helped all those other people that they did, I'm talking about probably I've saved all the tweets, all the emails. They're in a folder. There's over 300 of them from individual people. If I helped over 300 people not feel as bad anymore, then it was worth it. And that's what I did.
Well, I mean, I think
I definitely wasn't expecting it. I was not expecting. I wasn't even expecting to be as big as it did. I was not adequately prepared for the fallout.
I don't think anybody ever puts things or their own personal experiences and their own personal realities out there to be ripped apart. I think everybody has a right to their own opinion, and I think what society needs to change the narrative on is that just because you are in a relationship or that you are married, and it does not mean that you have to have children. It's not a mandatory thing. But people think that it's a bad thing. I got it a lot. When are you going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? Never. And people, I've been called selfish. I've been called a lot of things, just like, all the ridicule that comes around it, as if people don't have a right to live how they want to live.
Right. And I think that I want to jump on this point to say there's a lot of stereotypes. I think there's several stereotypes that people generally have when you say, I don't want to have kids. It's one, that you're selfish, that you want to just do all this crazy stuff and have all this crazy money and go on all these crazy adventures. That's not, for the majority of us. Sure, we take trips. But guess what? A lot of people do. People with kids take trips, But it's not, I don't live this luxurious lifestyle. I don't live this crazy lifestyle. I wake up at 6 o'clock every morning. I do my morning report. I go to the gym. I go to work. I make dinner. I clean the house. I go to bed by 11. And that's the reality for most people who don't have kids. That we live these 95% of the year. We live these totally normal lives, just like everyone else. That's one reality. The other one is that's one stereotype. The other stereotype is that you're this crazy career woman. That you're like this. You're like this. I want to say, like, Hillary Clinton's got a kid, like, Hillary Clinton, isn't it the stereotypical, is it the pantsuit wearing, I want to be a CEO of whatever. And I think if you really look in the people who don't have children, child-free community, as we'll call it, there's such diversity. There's people who are lawyers, doctors, engineers, more the white-collar, upper-class professions. There's people who are servers. There's people who work in fast food. There's people who are bus drivers, who are, nurses, everything, teachers, everything in between. You've got the entire spectrum, and it cuts across racial lines. It cuts across socioeconomic lines. It cuts across every demographic. It's not just there's no stereotype about. None of us fit into one box, and I think I can say this because I probably know 10,000. I mean, I'm in these groups, and 10,000 child-free women. We're all over the place. So yeah, I think that the stereotypes are also really harmful too. The stereotypes kind of need to go too. I really do want to work towards removing the stereotypes that we're all this one way.
Yeah, I agree. We definitely are not. I keep myself busy. I tell people my life is my own baby. I do, and I have a very active, not just social life, but even business life, and that's been my choice to be able to have things. And I have 5 nieces, 5 nephews, 2 godkids, so I have plenty of children. They're just not mine. I just never really felt that compelled to be a mom. I mean, especially, my sister, God bless her, I tell you, one year, for Mother's Day, she actually sent me this text, and I still keep it to this day, and it said, Happy Mother's Day to the woman that redefined the word mother.
Yeah.
And I thought
that's cool, yeah.
Probably a very touching sentiment that came from her, because it's not like they expected me to have children. They just knew that I had the life that I've always wanted.
Yeah. I think I think yours was more like, you maybe, and everyone's got their own reasons. I think mine was more that I just didn't, I grew up mostly in Detroit, like in the 90s. You want to talk about one most economically depressed place in some of the most, economically hardest times for the area. And I saw so many people, I saw my parents didn't divorce. I saw it happen to other people, and then you had these women who were, single mothers just struggling to get by. And then, there was some who, they had, as all of them, I had classmates who they lived with their mom and their grandparents. I'm just thinking, I love my parents. My parents are cool, but to live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with them and a couple kids, if things ever went south for me, because I mean, it would, yes, I could do it, but it would be so hard, and I didn't want to end up going back and then being a burden, being kind of burdened on my parents and being kind of in that situation in case things did go bad. You never plan for things to go bad, but you always know that, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And I don't know if I was right. I don't know if I really wanted to take that risk of just ending up, and I've seen it happen to a lot of people I went to school with already. It was already happening to people I knew. I didn't want to end up like that. So yeah.
And what's like that? I'm just
I end up living with my parents. Living with my parents in a crowded house, sharing one bathroom with 6 people, just sort of having to be not even relying on my parents, just being there because I didn't, if I was going to work, and needing, because the situations I think where I've seen it work out the best for people who are single moms is when they do have family that helps out. And so I think that I would have to, rely on my family too. So there's that. And my family drives. I mean, they're great people, but you've met them, Pamela. They can be kind of overwhelming. And we have a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, and it's very small already. Just I don't know if I could do it. So yeah, I don't want to test. When I go home, I sleep in a twin bed. That's what I sleep in, a twin bed. My husband sleeps in the other twin bed. His feet don't even fit on the end. We're not talking. So that's the kind. I don't want to bring a couple kids back to that situation. yeah, there's that.
Oh, wow. So what do you think is because you said, we need to, change that stereotype. So what do you think the stigma is on choosing to be child-free, and not just for a little while, but for a long time, just permanently?
I'm sorry, what did you say? Tyler texted me right as you said that. What is to be child-free? Did you say stigma? Or what?
What do you think is you said that we need to change that stereotype that people should want to have children, but so what do you think that stigma really comes from that says that you should have children? I mean, granted, the Bible says you should be fruitful and multiply, but why is there such a stigma for people who choose to be child-free, not temporarily, but just a permanent decision? Even, I mean, you made the decision extremely young. I think you were in your, when I met you, I
made the decision when I was 15, and I saw a lady give birth on the pool deck. That was trust me, the decision's been there for me way before that. I was like, yeah. Okay, so there's two questions here. One, the Bible says, be fruitful and go multiply. That's Old Testament, and the reason they said that was because that was back then. You're talking about when mankind's survival depended on having 13 kids. You're going to have 13 kids. Most of them won't, half will maybe make it to age 5. How many will even make it to age 30? Like, that was when people were needed to survive. That was it was very much a different situation then. It was to ensure the survival of the tribe's humanity. So that's not even an argument really anymore. Two, for removing stereotypes, I think you guys have to realize that I think we're up to in the U.S. I think it's like 18% of women will never have a kid, and so you're thinking 18%. That's almost 20%. In Italy, I think it's 21%. Okay, so 20%, 1/5 of the population. 1/5 is not 20%. That's not an insignificant number. So you have to realize if you're talking about 20% of an entire population, that's there's no way you can say that every single person, that 20%, is going to be the same or be uniform. I believe that, and I don't have the statistics right in front of me. I'm thinking black people make up 16% of the population in the U.S. I think Hispanics are slightly above that. So you're talking about two major groups. We're just using those two groups as reference. Can you say that every black person's alike? No. Can you say that every Hispanic person's alike? No. So when you're talking about a group bigger than those two major ethnic groups. So I think that's the way you have to look at it as. It's so many people, and you can't tell by you won't know really necessarily by looking at someone, but there's a lot out there. So yeah, I think you just have to realize that we're such a big group.
Yeah, we are, really. I think the other thing, and I'm not trying to, the goal of this show is not really to just focus on, choosing to be child-free, just by choice. I mean, we really are having that discussion, but I also want to know that there are people who are out there who are child-free by circumstance. And so I don't want anybody to think that we are, just saying, hey, it's our choice. I think, period, society needs to go away with asking people all the time, when you don't have children, when are you going to have children? Because there are friends of mine who have tried or are trying, and it's just not happening for them. And so it's already insulting enough for them to be around other people, who constantly just think about being pregnant and then get pregnant. And so, that is completely true. I went to high school with a girl, and I didn't find this out till later. She she was born without a uterus. Okay, cool. And you can't imagine how that's got to be hard when people just ask for that. Would you ever ask a deaf person? I've got another deaf friend. Would you ever ask a deaf friend, hey, when are you going to stop being deaf? You wouldn't. Would you ever ask an amputee, hey, when's your leg going to grow back? No, you wouldn't. And just because you can't see something doesn't mean you know what that person. You don't. For all I know, I could see someone I wouldn't know. Maybe they don't have their maybe they don't have a uterus. Maybe they don't have ovaries. I don't know. I can't tell that by looking at someone. So I think it's safe to assume you just don't ask that stuff. And I think I come from
a place where it's I, just being, I think, growing up half Canadian, it's kind of, you just don't ask people those personal questions, but in America, people, they love to ask that. Yeah.
They like to ask that a lot, and sadly, it's a lot of the times the asking isn't coming from outsiders, it's coming from insiders.
Yeah.
It's inside, it's family, it's, friends who might not, or acquaintances. I'm not going to say friends, but acquaintances. It's people who are friends of friends who think they know you, but in reality they really don't. So, let's see if we can open up the line a little bit and see if there's anybody there who would like to share, why they either choose to be child-free or whatever they would like to share. This is, you could be as frank as you want, but just understand we're going to be very frank too. So let's open up the line for a little bit and see if anybody's on the call. Anyone on the call?
Anyone? Well, while we're waiting, I was going to actually add this. But it's also, this is like what defines me. And I knew after that first article, I've never written about it again for a reason, because I read what happened. Some lady wrote a book about it, and that's all she's known for. And I did that once. I did those few interviews, and now I don't ever. I don't. It's not a topic of anything I write about. It's not anything, because I don't want that to be what defines me, and that can happen with a lot of people with writing and stuff like that. I know somebody wrote a piece about. She was an immigrant from the Middle East when she was younger, and she wrote a piece. It was a very big piece, and then she struggled to get known for things other than that. And I don't want my first thing the first thing I ever came out with, or that one thing, to define me, because that's not at all. That's just one part of who I am and one part of what I can write about and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just don't. I think it's one of those things. Once you say, yeah, I'm not having kids, that should be done. Then there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can ask me. If people want to ask me stuff, okay, they asked me that one question. I said never. They say never. Okay, cool. Guess what? Now you can ask me. I don't know. Say you got 20 questions. You can ask me 19 more. You can ask me 100 more questions, because I got a lot of other things about me. But don't hone in on that one thing. I'm not going to hone in on one thing about somebody else. Usually say, yeah, that's kind of just the whole. I don't think it should define us.
Mhm. I definitely feel that way, and you're right. The questions don't stop, and I think that's one of those weird realities that the next thing is, well, why don't you want to have kids? Well, everybody should have children. Who's going to leave behind your legacy? How are you going to do this, or how are you going to do that, or why?
Well,
at
what
this
legacy?
point,
Like, I'm not like, it's not like, no, if people are like, oh my God, looking at legacy. First of all, I'm like, why do you feel like that? I'm like, you work at a call center, or you work some, you work a sales job. It's the only, you're not some knight, you're not royalty, you're not some literary savant, you're just some people, and your legacy is not even that great. You're nothing special. I'm nothing special. I don't think nobody cares about legacies anymore. Nobody's really ever cared. Unless you're royalty, nobody cares about your legacy or whatever.
so I'm going to disagree with that, because to me, in the age of social media, I think that you have an opportunity to influence people, and for good or for bad. So I think we leave behind a trail of legacy every single day, or whether it's great or small. I feel like we need to stop looking at, you have to be dead to have some form of legacy. I think that you can be a living legacy, and that's attached to what you put out into this world, and that does not come into the shape of children. I mean, let's be honest. Some children can probably tear down your legacy, because if that's how you remember, because your child has gone to jail, your child has done, some very heinous things. So you have to redefine the way that we look at what legacy really means.
Oh yeah. I think you talk about. I think the word was just defined differently. Legacy is only you can leave your legacy. A legacy is like the legend of who you are. I'm thinking when people usually use legacies with regards to children, it's like your bloodline. I guess that's what I'm thinking of. Is like, oh, unless I'm royalty, my bloodline doesn't matter. So that's where I'm kind of getting the whole. Your way you say legacy is how it's meant to be defined. A lot of people though define it as your bloodline, like it's your physical bloodline. There must be another. What is it, Zorka? There'll never be another Zorka. There'll never be another Zorka in the United States because my cousin, unless he knocks up some other random chick, and she has a boy. He only has a daughter that we know of. There might be kids out there we don't know of. It wouldn't surprise me. And then then it was just me and my sister, and then he only had sisters. And then my uncle didn't have any kids. My other uncle didn't have any kids, and my dad's cousin didn't have kids. So there will not be any more Zorkas in the United States once the last of us die. So it's like then, but that doesn't matter because the world will be fine just without us. And we're all actually out there doing
not a legacy.
Pretty decent lives. That's what I mean.
Generation is not legacy. Legacy
the way people
are markers.
The way people define
legacy is markers of. Well, I'm just saying, legacy is markers of influence that you put out to the world. Saying that there's not going to be no more Zorkas or anybody who feels like my lifeline, my bloodline is going to be gone. That's a generational thing. That has nothing to do with the impact that you put into this world.
So you're defining. You're defining it correctly.
So I'm defining it as what it really is. I mean, if you really think about it, your legacy should far extend you. Eventually, people die. I mean, you have a lot of great people in history who are no longer here, but their legacy still stands. It was standing before they passed away, and they're still standing now. And so we need to get out of the thought that if some people people choose not to have children, that their legacy is going to be gone. My legacy will be well intact. I also don't know how many people I influence that don't know me. I do know people I have influenced that have told me, but that has nothing to do with me choosing not to procreate.
Right. So again, let's use the example now of my family. Our legacy could last for 200, 300 years or whatever, even if the bloodline name dies. So that's where I think it's our bloodline can die and it won't matter to the world, but legacies that we've all individually created, that can live on. So yeah, that's kind of where I think misery loves company. People want you to be as miserable. Sometimes people, because who's never there asking why do you want to do this, why do you want to do that, this kind of stuff. People are content with their own life. People are in their own lanes, minding their own business. They're never the ones asking all of your business about why do you do this. Like, they're not questioning your decisions. People are questioning you. They're the ones who, I think it's a lot of people, it's misery loves company. They want you to be as miserable as they are. And there are some people I know out there. There's people I know, and now we're going to step away, we're going to get beyond the child-free thing. There's people I know who will only respond or like your, whether social media status, when you post something negative, when you post something that's bad, when you post something that's your, I don't know, if something's not good for you, whatever it is at the moment. I mean, you could have, something, they'll like that. But then something good happens, they don't like that. Because misery, some people thrive on other people's misery. And that's just life.
But I think, and that's very true, but I think also some people are so happy when they have children that they have an expectation that other people should have children because it brings happiness. I tell you, I have been around and have helped raise, my 5 nieces and my 5 nephews, and I can tell you what, there is nothing glamorous about childhood, and nobody teaches you how to parent adults, because even no matter how old you are, kids go home, and that's a lifelong commitment. Literally, it is a lifelong commitment, unless you're some kind of shitty parent of some sort and just say, you know what, I'm gonna cut my kid off, and no matter what, they're just going to have to sink or swim, and sometimes if they flourish, and then other times not so much. I mean, there is a such thing as tough love also, but then there's tough love that is, to me, can be very insensitive. So when it comes to having children, I just myself, I can give that kind of love to my nieces and nephews and even my goddaughter, my godson, but I'm just not built for that 24/7 thing. Selfishly.
And
Selfishly.
I love kids. I love kids. I love kids so much. I love kids. I could, if given a very different set of circumstances, if I come from a wealthy family with a whole bunch of unlimited resources to have that safety net, I don't know, maybe then I would have had kids. That wasn't what I was born into. I was born into a good situation, but we're not loaded. But here's the deal. Kids, babies, toddlers, little kids, they're so cute. They're so wonderful and so adorable. Guess what? They grow up. And then they grow up, by the time they're 10, 11, 12, they're there, and they're just, I want an iPad, I want an iPad. Like, if I want video games, I want to, you're sitting there, you're like, then they just become little, just adults, and you're like, oh man, now I gotta, kids, babies and stuff are so cute, and everyone loves them and wants to, like, act like that's all the fun of parenting. Guess what? Those kids are gonna grow up, and then they're gonna, and it's not like they're 18 and you're done with them. Some of them stick around for quite some time, and they're there again, and then they're back again, and they're back again. So yeah, it's not just when most people think about having kids, they think about little cute babies and toddlers. It's not just cute babies and toddlers. So yeah,
that's probably why I don't need to have any. Once they get past 3, they become disinteresting to me. They're still fun, but then when they start talking back and can talk and be overly demanding because now they can talk, or and really by 2, once their vocabulary starts to really come in and they start asking 50,000 questions and it don't stop. So you have to be ready for those kind of things. I like those things in small dosages, not in one, on a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's my love and my passion. But to each his own. For people who choose to have kids, I think it's a very beautiful thing. And when people have asked me, it's so funny, now when I tell people, if I had kids, I'd have to have a full-time nanny. And by full-time, I mean at least Monday through Saturday. Saturday, I don't mind being a half a day so that I can sleep in, because I do like my sleep and I do a lot. And, then on Sunday, we can have all-day family time, but I'm really busy. But at least I can acknowledge that and be honest about that. So my thing is, if I want that, why would I bring kids into this when my focus is not really there to give them everything that they need? Because I still want the things that I need. And I feel like that's an okay thing.
Yeah,
babies require a lot. Babies, to start over now at almost 44, I have developed something in my life that I'm not at a place where I'm willing to make that kind of sacrifice. Now, I sacrifice a lot for my nieces and nephews, and if my sisters decided to have another baby, in which they probably kill me for saying that right now, even with putting that out in the air, I would not mind, being that great auntie. But for me, I'm at this phase in my life where I'm relatively selfish to bring in a brand new baby. Now I would look for somebody who can, use the bathroom by themselves, where I don't have to pack diapers, that, can walk and talk and do everything that I can do without having to pack bags and diapers and bottles and bottle warmers and lotion and, just trying to make sure you have everything.
Well, funny you should say that. This lady, she's an older lady at our gym. She's like in her 50s, and she has her 2 sons. I think her sons are 30 and 31. I guess they told her, we don't want kids, so you're not going to get grandkids. And she said, okay, fine. She's like, well, I still like kids. And she went to like Venezuela, or one of those, like Venezuela or Honduras or something like that, one of those South American countries that's really in turmoil. And she adopted like a 5 and a 6-year-old boy, and she took all of her 30 and 31-year-old son's stuff. Like, they still have bedrooms at her house, even though they lived alone. She took all their stuff and put it in a box in the garage, and then she moved like these 2 new little boys into their rooms. And I was like, all right, what? Here you go. Like, okay, I don't need your grandkids. So yeah. And now they like, she's like, you're like, you're replaceable, in a joking way. But yeah, she's like, you guys are replaceable. Here you go.
Now that I have never been opposed to. I've never been opposed to adoption. I've just been opposed to having, physically given birth. Let me just tell you this.
Yeah.
Just like you, they got to come out of you. And I tell you what, I don't like either way that they have to come out. My younger sister has had 5 vaginal births. My older sister has had, 4 cesarean births, and, her 5th one is her stepson. I don't like how any of that looks. I'm not.
I saw it when I was 15. I saw it. It was so gross. Oh God, it was so gross. I still think about it. It was so. A lady gave birth on the pool deck. I was a lifeguard. I was 15. It was so gross. Oh my God, it was just. Oh God. And I had to go over there, and I don't know, stand there because my 25-year-old boss, he was a guy, and I think it was all guys working that day, but me and one other girl, and I had to go over there because, he said it was a woman thing. So my 25-year-old boss stood in the corner like a little coward, and I had to go over there and I had to witness it. It was so awful. Yes, I'm like, nope, that's it, done. And then we had to watch it again. Now I remember in health class in high school, I was like, ugh, gross. Nope, not chill.
I don't remember watching it that in depth in high school, but
you guys didn't have to watch the birth video in high school?
You know what? First of all, let me just say I have been out of high school for 25 years. So ask me what I'm supposed to remember from over 25 years ago, because I think that is what, 9th grade?
Yeah, it was. You do health. Yeah, you do health in your freshman year. Yep.
Yeah, no, I don't. You're talking back further than 25 years. No, I have no idea what we did in gym back then. Although it's so weird, I did fail gym one time. How do you fail? How does anyone fail gym? You just choose not to participate or get dressed. So, I guess that was my rebellious times. I know. So, yeah. That's a whole nother story. Which is odd for me to have run track and, my senior year. Yeah. Actually, you know what I did? I tell you how I did it. We had 3 lunches at my school at the time, and I preferred to go to all 3 lunches instead of gym.
What did you do for 3 lunches? Just like hang out in the cafeteria with your friends?
Well, it was in and out of. It was both in the cafeteria and outside the cafeteria. Then we had Burger King not far away, so some people would walk to Burger King.
Oh, you guys were allowed to leave. Okay, yeah.
Well, no, we weren't really allowed to leave. We just kind of left. But but I'm just saying. So it's weird, very weird thing. Like I said, I digress. That's a whole other conversation of how someone can fail gym. Even my mother said that. How the hell do you fail gym? Wow. Then she found out how I was failing gym was really not going to gym or not dressing.
Oh my God! Actually, I have two stories. One was I also remember in health class the only things I do remember from health class was the childbirth video, and then CPR, and then I only remember CPR because the guys used to make out with the rescue nanny dolls, and then we had safe tanning day because apparently a lot of boys in my high school, this was, the time when, you remember, Nick Lachey and 98 Degrees and the boy bands were really in right then, and they all kind of had tans. And so the guys from my high school would go tanning. And so the girls, we all did, we had safe tanning sessions. And we had, we tan, and so we had safe tanning sessions as one chapter in our health. I think they just added it in because they thought, what was going on. And I remember the health teacher telling the guys to put a sock on it. And that we literally had a day dedicated to her explaining to me to put the sock on it when the guys tanned. And I realized that nobody else I know ever had a safe tanning day in their health school, in their health class. So
what?
Especially one. Yeah, yes, it's because I guess they realized it was an issue. They're gonna sit there and be like, all right, well, most of you guys probably aren't gonna smoke meth, so maybe we can take a day out of the don't do drugs, curriculum to talk about some stupid stuff you all idiots are doing, because you all idiots are out there tanning. Most of y'all aren't doing meth, but you're definitely tanning. So yeah, it made sense if you think about it. Second thing, how I got in trouble, the one time, and I'm using trouble in quotes, I'm doing air quotes here for trouble. I was, it was my senior year, I remember, and I get called, called down, you get the slip to go down and see the assistant principal. And the assistant principal, he was also the football coach. So he was, and the funny thing is he's probably the age I am now. He's probably late 20s, early 30s, the football coach, not very bright. And I got that he wasn't very bright. So I go down there, and so I come in his office, and I'm like, what's up? He says, he's like, where were you on, April 2nd? And I said, well, I was sick. My dad called in. I wasn't here. I said, did you not get the message? You need call my dad. Go ahead. He's like, no. He's like, we got the message your dad called. but you weren't here hours. I mean, he shows that you were absent hours 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. He's like, but you were reported as being here hour 2. And I'm like, gym? I saw a gym class, and he's like, yeah. And so he's like, well, I guess so. And I was like, you mean I skipped school, except I really wanted to come here and play team handball? And he's sitting there, he's like, are you being sarcastic with me? I was like, no, never. And I'm just sitting there like, what's he gonna do? Like, if I get like a detention for being a smart ass, it will be worth it. So he's finally like, he's like, well, maybe Coach Mo just to be Coach Mo was the other football coach. He's like, maybe he just didn't count right. Okay, well, he's like, go back to class. And I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, so he like tore up the thing saying I was supposed to have like a detention or something like that. But yeah, that was the one time I think I ever got called to the principal's office or anything like that. That was my one brush with trouble in high school.
Oh, how nice of you. Oh, the principal knew my name. Oh, yeah, the principal knew my name. But, here again, this is probably why if I, part of me, I was a good child, but I was also, I caused my share of issues. And I tell you, if they say you have children and that's karma back to you, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I believe I'm okay. But, I look at where I'm at now and what I've aspired to, and I will probably shock my teachers, even maybe some of my friends. I mean, I was president of science club. So I was kind of nerdy, but or smart, but then also I was somewhat
I was like the cool nerd. You were the cool nerd. There you go. I'm like I wasn't a normal nerd. I was a cool nerd.
Oh yeah, well I guess you can say that. I had lots of acquaintances. I was well known in high school, but you know what's so weird? So I'm gonna tell you, my class reunions, people become themselves, and to me personally, my thought was just because, and I saw people blow up without children in my class, and I don't care if they listen to this or not. I don't. I know. I see it too. Here's why it's called unapologetic. I've almost always looked the same way as I had when I was in high school, and I remember, I think it was the 15th reunion. And I had just briefly went to the class reunion to talk to a friend. And what got back to me and all the little snickering and stuff was that I must be anorexic because I'm small, and all these other little negative comments, which I still don't care about. And I told my friend, I said, I'm least concerned with what people have to say, because when you just blow up for no reason and you don't have children to attribute to that, not saying that you have a medical position, but I feel like if you have something to say about me, don't follow me now, because you still look the same and I still look the same. I mean, it's the same as when I saw them had put on all the weight, and nothing much has changed about me. So hey, people choose their own way of living and their own way of thinking, but it's still very tainted. And so for me, most people assumed, and they even say, I don't know if you've heard this, where people say to you, you must not want to mess up your body. That's why you don't have children. Have you ever heard that?
Oh, and of course, that's true. That's partially true. It's like, I don't like the idea of something coming out of my lady parts. It's not a big deal. I can work out. Like if I got fat, I have enough self-discipline to not be fat anymore. But I don't want to think about stuff down there happening. So yeah, no, somebody threw 50 pounds on me right now, I am dedicated. You know me, I work out like a fiend. I could do that. That's not the getting fat.
You work out like an extra fiend.
Go back down. Yeah, well, I've been the same size since I was 14. So it's about it's really about for me it's about maintaining. So yeah, I think it's just the gross. Oh, it's just so gross. Yeah, it really is so gross. Just think about it.
Oh my gosh!
I cut my thumb off. I cut my thumb off one time. That was gross enough. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So really quick, because we have about 7.5 minutes before this episode ends, and so we just want to check one more time to make sure that there are no callers out there before we continue on. any callers out there that would like to either ask a question or, give their own testimony or story about choosing to be child-free, or even maybe why you chose to have children? Going once, going twice. Okay, we're going to move on real quick.
And so, you know what? Speaking of now, let's talk about the happy hour portion of this show. My friend Tyler just texted me, and I did that wine, the wine of the from the group. I did that wine club or whatever. It's like, all right, cool. So I got like my 4 bottles of wine. We can't ship to Utah, right? So it had to go. So I had to have them sent to Tyler in Montana, and he's driving down to go to Vegas tomorrow. So he drives to Salt Lake City. So he just went. And we've been going through this whole thing with FedEx all day. We've literally talked because they dropped it off. No one was there to sign it for it, whatever. So he just got wine. So tomorrow I will be getting 4 bottles of wine. I'm so excited.
What kind of wine?
I did the grab bag. I let the computer pick for me. You answer all these questions. It's from Winc, W-I-N-C. They ask you, do you like orange, or do you like strawberry? So you do it's AI. It's AI. It's just technology. So it's a decision logic tree or whatever, and whatever the computer picks for me, I got. So we'll know tomorrow. I remember what they were. I knew when they showed up. I was like, oh, like when the results they showed me they're like these are your probable results. I was like, all right, cool. So they look good to me. So we'll find out tomorrow. I'm excited.
Oh,
yeah.
How stupid is that? I'm a red wine drinker anyhow. I'm a very much so. I'm a Merlot, Malbec, Cabernet type of girl. I don't like much that's overly sweet, which is shocking because I'm drinking a Black Russian right now. But I'm just not a huge sweet drinker at all. That's probably why I like dirty martinis, because there's no sugar in a dirty martini. Probably get high blood pressure.
Isn't a dirty martini just straight vodka?
No, a dirty martini is vodka and with a splash of olive juice and an olive on the inside.
That's right. My mom drinks those. I'm like, ew, olives, no.
Yeah, no. So just a straight up martini, dirty martini, or straight up martini has just the olive with no juice.
Got it.
Yeah, so I'm a gin drinker, and I like either Tanqueray, Bombay. Yeah, I know Tanqueray, Bombay, or Hendrix in my dirty martinis. But here again, if I could not have a gin martini and it just be straight up, I think I'd probably no, thank you.
Gin is the one alcohol I can't drink.
Huh?
Yeah, gin is the one alcohol I cannot drink. My friend, he passed out. He passed out. We had a party when I was like 18. Had a party, and he went into my bedroom, passed out. I remember it was my birthday. He passed out like 7 p.m. while the rest of us were still hanging out, and he passed out with a plastic bottle of gin in my bed. He poured the gin all over my mattress, and I remember the gin spilled all over my mattress, and my mattress smelled like it was like plastic bottle, cheap bottle gin, and my mattress smelled like cheap gin for years. It was so gross.
Wow, I would have just probably thrown it out. But
I didn't want to tell my parents. I didn't want to tell my parents we had a party at the house, and I needed they would have. I mean, I guess I could have gone and bought a new mattress, snuck it in, but I didn't want to tell my parents, hey, I got a new mattress. Why? Oh, because Kyle spilled gin on it because we were partying when you were gone.
Oh, wow. Okay, so, you know what, really quick before we end the show, Zoe, where can people find you at?
On social, on Twitter, Instagram, at Zoe Shrugged, ZoeShrugged. Facebook, Zoe Zorka, the only one.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, and then, of course, I am Dr. Pamela Gurley. My hashtag for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is I am Dr. P. Gurley, I-am DrPGurley. Very easy. I don't think there's any other I am Dr. P. Gurleys out there. I don't think so either. I don't think so, but there are some Pamela Gurleys out there. So my Facebook is pretty private, but I think after 5,000, no one else can follow you, and I'm sparingly not trying to get to 5,000. I know that I'm over 4, so I'm very cautious in case I meet acquaintances or friends that want to decide, want to follow me or whatnot. So I'm trying to keep at least a small group open.
You can, as many people can follow you as they want. Even if people like can't friend you, they can
to follow me, but for me to friend back. And then, of course, this is Herspiration Happy Hour. You can find us on Instagram at Herspiration Happy Hour and on Facebook at Herspiration. And are we still on Twitter or?
Yeah, it's on Twitter at,
okay.
I think, Herspiration. Look up Herspiration. I think I finally got resolved with Twitter because someone else would use the account. I sent the thing via the trademark, but look for Herspiration on Twitter. It'll come up. We'll just you can see look for the hashtag Herspiration. We're pretty much the only ones who use it. So yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then you can find us
then you'll see our
on
logo.
Apple iTunes.
Yeah,
Apple iTunes at Herspiration Happy Hour, as well as Podbean and I think it's Podbean and Buzzsprout as well on the Herspiration Happy Hour for the podcast, which will not release today, but should be releasing no later than Friday. I mean, since we are filming live, what you see is what you get, a little on the unfiltered side. And so we value your opinions, and definitely you could join in on the calls anytime at 319.
If you have topics you want to tell us about, send us topic ideas,
Send topics to at admin@herspiration.com. And if you ever want to join in on the conversation, it's 319-527-3835. And as we are going to finish our, Black Russian, and you with your joke about the whole Black Russian thing still, it lingers in my mind. Now I'm going to actually have to go and watch the Dave Chappelle ending because I could have just walked away at, during a certain point and missed that part.
Yeah.
And then also want to just shout out our child-free community, especially those who are child-free by choice, stand strong. And we know that it's not always that easy when people want to kind of almost force you to have children. And, the always comeback is, are you going to take care of them?
Yeah, are you going to pay for this? Are you paying it?
Yeah, are you going to take care of them? And, on that note, we only have, less than 25 seconds left. Anything you want to say last minute?
Nope. We look forward to hearing from you. Make sure you follow us and send us your ideas. So we'll talk to you all soon.
Yes, and definitely give us some feedback and things you want to talk about. And if you want to be a guest on the show, again, hit us at admin@herspiration.com. And on that note, until the next radio show or podcast, cheers.
Cheers. Bye.